What's up, guys? I'm here at 2016 Baltimore Comic Con, and I have here with me special guest Michael Rowe. How you doing, man?
I'm good, dude. How are you?
Good, good, good. So how has Comic Con been thus far? You had a chance to be here yesterday. Now it is day 2.
Yep.
How's it been going?
It's good, man. I mean, I flew in pretty late Thursday night. Went out to get a phone charger because I forgot mine in the last place I was at.
Okay.
And it was like the middle of the night, and it was like crazy downtown. It was like a zombie movie. And I was like, oh man, I've never been to Baltimore. What is going on? And then I went in the store, and the cops came in because somebody just robbed the place. And I was like,
what?
I kind of like, this place is like scary, but cool. And
man.
yeah, so I was out lurking around in the night, and then I saw the place in the daytime. It was like sunny and beautiful, big fancy harbor, and I'm like, wow, I had the total wrong impression of this place from last night. I think I just like caught it on a bad night, you know what I mean? But yeah, hanging out here yesterday, meeting some really cool people, and I love it so far, man. All good.
All right, awesome. Now, Suicide Squad is making, such a roar, not just with what we've seen recently, on the big screen, but even long before that, you guys already had a crack at it, on the small screen. So can you talk a bit about that character of Deadshot and what it's meant for you to have, people respond to it the way that they have?
So, do you remember the first time they ever did Suicide Squad on TV?
Yeah.
Before Arrow?
Yes.
Smallville, right?
Yes.
And you remember that Deadshot? They kind of did a Western version?
Right.
So that dude's name is Bradley Stryker, and he's a good friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
And he's actually the first person that ever coached me for an audition.
No.
Yeah, man.
Small
He was my
world.
first acting teacher.
Okay.
And so Deadshot was the first role I ever got, and I called him up, and I'm like, dude, did you play this dude named Deadshot? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I just got like the new role in Arrow. He's like, all right, we'll be forever together on Wikipedia, I guess. And I'm like, yeah, man. So that's a really strange fact, and nobody really knows that.
Okay.
So yeah, I didn't really dig in too much to the comic books for much besides the origin story of Deadshot.
Okay.
Because I just kind of knew they were going for something different, kind of a gritty feel, like Dark Knight style, grounded, in the real world. So I found out, how he sort of became Deadshot and all the damage that happened to him as a kid and the stuff with his daughter, and knew that, and then just kind of took that and then worked on what they gave me from the scripts. But I mean, I was since the third episode of season 1, third episode of season 1, I started thinking about it the other day, and I think I'm one of the longest running villains on the show. So I've spent a lot of time with this character bouncing around in my head, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I told you earlier when we were talking that sometimes I'm in a situation, I'm like, I wonder what Floyd Lawton would do if this was him, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, it drives you crazy, but when you play somebody who does bad things especially, you got to know sort of the reasons why. And you got to be able to sort of sympathize with the character. So to me, every time I have to do a scene, it makes perfect sense to me. I've rationalized all of these
Decision that's made
bizarre
that this character
things that I'm doing, right? And
Yeah.
these bad things for the public. I've had to, even if it's not in the script, I have to fill in all those gaps of why I think it's the right thing to do right now, or else you can't make the character human. And I think that's why people started to respond for it. Because he was just a dude. He was a dude who was damaged, and that sent him off on a certain trajectory. And that's just what happens sometimes in life, you know what I mean?
Okay, cool. Now, lastly, you've had a background with comedy, and with the character like that, with any, villain, I feel like those villains that we respond to have, some levity to them, some humor. So do you feel that having that background of doing comedy has, helped with the portrayal of that character?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if definitely the first time he showed up, he didn't really have any one-liners or any sort of wisecracks in there. But then as they started coming, and I started to really play around with them and riff on them because of my history with comedy, and then I noticed the scripts would come in with a little bit more of them because I think then they saw that it was really working.
Right.
And it kind of even though my character's so dark and heavy and always lurking around in the shadows, it kind of lightened the tone a little bit on the show because it's kind of a dark show, right?
Yeah.
And so especially when the dynamic between Deadshot and Diggle started to kind of evolve, and they had that kind of you know how you're sort of mean to your brothers and make fun of them, or to your best friend. I kind of started playing it like that because to me, Deadshot was always trying to look for an equal, and I played it that he was, when he first met Arrow, he was kind of looking to partner up.
Right,
Like, why are we fighting each other? We're
Right.
two of the baddest dudes on the planet. We
right,
should
right.
like work together and just take everybody out.
Right.
So then Diggle was kind of like the opposite of Deadshot, but Deadshot was very intrigued by that. And I think Diggle was also intrigued by why Floyd made the decisions he made, because they would go on these missions, have the same goal in mind, but the route I would take to it, the
Right.
opposite of the way he would want to take to it.
Sure.
But when it comes to that style of humor and that style of like riffing on people and like poking at people, I grew up with 4 brothers. So, you know, any weakness you showed,
Yeah,
my brother would
pounce
pounce on
on
it.
it.
Yeah, and then I traveled in a band for many years, and it was the
Right.
same thing. So that kind of brotherly sort of, you know, dark humor, man.
right,
Yeah, that's one of my specialties. So
Okay.
don't mess with me. If you see me on the street and you try to stick it to me, you will get it back harder than you gave it, I promise you.
All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Thank you, Michael.
All right.
Thank you so much. There you have it, guys. 2016 Baltimore Comic Con. Michael Rowe, Brandon Troy. I will see you soon.